So it's been about 4 days since we last checked in. Really not a lot has happened since then. I made my website. I finished up my Google business profile. I think it still needs a lot more improving to do. And I also kind of established like my main three core services. Of course, I could probably add on more services as I go through this and as I get better with it. But I think for the time being and also for my own sanity, I think I'm just gonna leave it at three. I'm not gonna stress myself out. I don't need that. It has been honestly since I'm not cold calling, because I'm not gonna lie, I cannot handle cold calling. I'm fucking shit at it, but I'm really good at texting. And so over the last couple days, what I've been doing is I've been texting a lot of people like nonstop. Um, and I only do whatever I can per day. I'm not gonna be on my phone all day and sending text messages. It's just like not realistic for me, especially because I don't want to burn myself out immediately. But I do have a set goal for every single day because I do know roughly how many texts it's gonna take before I end up closing a text or something else. So for me, that number is probably gonna be one in every 85 to 100 text messages. I'll have actual interest in people that are interested in messaging me. So my focus will be to message 50 people before noon and then another 25 people after I get out of work. And then after that, I'll schedule 25 messages for the morning. It's just copy, pasting a message, and then putting in their phone number, and that's really it. It's not hard work. So I've already received 3 different responses, and honestly, it's been really helpful in terms of one, how I'm structuring my messages, but then two, also what these guys are really looking for. So the first guy, immediate no, he did listen to my whole pitch and how much I was offering it for, and he said no, because what he was looking more or less for is a CRM, and I'm not building that out, at least not right now. That's not my focus, and that's not what I want to be known for. I know there is a lot of money in that sector. I know that, I mean, my boss literally pays like $4,000 a year for the current CRM that we use, and it's pretty butter. Like, it's great. So yeah, I don't want to sign myself up for something that I know I can't deliver on, and something that I know I can't at least even attempt to try because I don't have the skill set for that. I don't. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, use Cloud Code, use Cloud Code, we build you an app with Cloud Code. No, I'm not. So please, refrain yourself. It was a little bit harsh to receive that immediate rejection, but it was necessary. So what I've been doing, as well as my due diligence, I'll go through their social media, I'll go through their website. And if it looks like it could genuinely use improvement, then I'll message them. If not, like if they have a pretty good website, or if it's something that I'm probably gonna end up delivering back to them, I'm skipping it. I don't want to deal with it just yet. I want something to get my foot through the door, to get that first like sale, essentially. I don't want to hassle somebody and try and gaslight them into thinking like, oh yeah, like you for sure need a new website. You need this really bad. Actually, like you're struggling when they're not. And I know there's gonna be like door-to-door sales guys being like, oh, well, you saying no or you saying okay to their rejection is you setting yourself up for failure, not being able to hit your goals, blah, 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 blah. I was able to make 80K last year by saying no or accepting no's, both ways. Saying no and accepting no's is okay. It's not the end of the world. There are other people out there that do want your services, and there are other people out there that want to work with you. It is okay to face rejection. Now, constant rejection, that's something else. Constant rejection is like, okay, there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with my deliverance, and there's something wrong with my tone. That's different. But when I've talked to someone and I've given them my pitch, and, basically when I've shown someone I'm worth, that's when I'll go ahead and let them decide if it's worth it for them. Because I know I'm not worth it for everybody. And not everybody's worth it for me. So it's a two-way street. So the second guy that reached out, it was kind of the same issue as with the first guy, except once I explained that I'm not a CRM, he was still pretty interested in my services. So there was kind of no issues even from the start. But then once I was getting ready to deliver, he's like, okay, great. So am I good to cancel my CRM subscription, and am I good to use you as a payment processor? And I said, I'm not a payment processor. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. I wish I was the bank. I wish I had bank. Okay. But he wasn't really happy with that. And so he was like, well, then what's the point of paying you? And I was like, yeah, what is the point? Let's revisit that. And so I kind of re-explained myself again. Again, it's a lot of older gentlemen that are trying to hold on to their businesses and keep management and show that they are, good to still be in charge of their businesses. So that's the other thing too. He was like, well, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna keep with what I have. I should have, never reached out. I should have kept my, my word by my life motto. And that life motto was, if it ain't broke, don't fix. And then I realized, holy shit, that's what I'm going up against in this industry. It's not other people, other marketers, other blah, blah, blah. It is going up against men, mainly, who are very much so living by that standard. If it ain't broke, don't fix. I can't tell you how many men live by that. They are the epitome of, I'll wear these dirty chonies until I've worn them at least 5 different ways. Or I'm going to keep all these socks with holes in them because at least a third of my foot is still covered. So it's like, holy crap, these are just people who are not willing to fix the things that will probably push them forward, push them higher on a pedestal or whatever, because it's an uninterrupted industry, at least as of right now. Probably within the next couple of years, it is going to be a lot more different than what I'm saying right now. But as of right now, we are still dealing with those old people, especially in the area that I'm in, those older people that created really big name brands for themselves in these communities. And, no matter how they look, they are still the go-to. So that's what I was dealing with. And, he stood his ground and was like, so yeah, you can take what you got, give me my deposit back, and we'll call it a day. And I was like, you know what, yeah, that's fair. But hey, if you ever need any help with advertising, marketing, or handling your social media, because he did mention that was another big thing that he wanted to work on next. I said, that is something that I know you can probably hand off a lot easier than, having us build a website for you and, this whole situation that you got going on. And he looked at me and he was like, you know what, that's true, but I'm not ready right now, so don't talk to me anymore. And then he reached out again a couple weeks later and was like, hey, I need your help updating my SEO. And I was like, you know what, that is a great first step. Instead of making you a whole new website, you can go ahead and update your SEO, and it'll probably help improve a couple things. He has a Squarespace website, so that's already kind of like over-promising just a little bit. And then I added on that I also do his Google business profile update because he has not updated it in the last 5 years. So I said, I can put you on a monthly maintenance plan. I'll make sure that everything is optimized, and hopefully it'll help a little bit more with your organic search. And then at the end of that, I added in, from there we can work on your media marketing. And he hasn't responded to my message about that. I did tell him how much it was going to cost, and he hasn't even opened the message though. So I guess I did send a follow-up message this morning, and I guess I'll see from him later today probably, or later this week. Who knows? We'll check in again. But yeah, that's how that went. And I don't know if anything will come from it, really. It's hard to say. He's a very hard to read person in general, but he owns I believe it's a detail shop, and he does mobile detailing. But he's an older gentleman, and he has a few employees, so like he's been running this for a while, and he knows how to get around. But that, I mean, it could just be the price that's turning people off, and this could be a learning lesson for me too. Also, when I first met with him, he said something that I immediately corrected within my business, and it's helped a lot in the sense of getting responses. He said, I almost didn't respond to you because you did not have the same area code as anyone in the state of North Carolina. I said, oh shit, yeah, I still have a Texas fucking area code. So I bought my phone back in November, but I kept my same phone number because I hate changing my number. But for the longest, I was using my 12 Pro, and I had it from when it came out back in, 2019, 2018? So yeah, it's been through a lot with me. I've had it for a couple years. Obviously, I never went to go get it, repaired or anything like that. So once I paid it off, like 5 years ago, I just switched to Mint Mobile because it was just cheaper service, and you could pay it a full year. I think full year is like, $200, $240? Or you could pay like in 3 or 6 month increments. This is not a Mint Mobile ad, but it's really cool you could do that. And I had fairly good service everywhere I went, and I had mobile hotspot, so I was able to use my laptop everywhere. Again, not an ad for Mint Mobile. It's just it's fair to say that Mint was Mint. So what I did was I reactivated this phone with a local area code here in North Carolina, and it's been pretty great. I've gotten way more responses than I was getting on my my Texas phone number, so that's been really cool. And not only that, but it was only $45 to activate for 3 months. So if this fails within 3 months, then I don't have to renew. So now the third guy that has reached out was almost like an immediate yes. I said, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do. I've built you a website. Do you want to meet for some coffee, or do you have time to hop on a Zoom call later this week? And he said yes. So now we're just figuring out what time works best for both of us and our schedules. And we're gonna meet up for some coffee. I'm gonna show him everything, show him the value of it, and more than likely he's probably gonna be my first paying customer. And it just goes to show, it doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't. It just took a little bit of reworking. My initial message was like a whole long thing, explaining everything I do, explaining where I'm from, what I've done for them right now, and that's why I'm reaching out to them. And then I think my second draft of the message was kind of like, hey, do you want more leads? Like asking them a question. And so I kind of moved on from that because I think they're already kind of prepared for spam when it comes to getting messages like that. And now I'm just saying, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do. I built you a website, let's meet. And I think that's a really key thing, is meeting with them face to face, telling them, hey, this is what I could do for you, and showing them that they can trust you. I think is going to be a really big seller. So a lot of these guys initially hire marketers and website builders that don't even live in the same country as them, or sometimes even the same state as them. So I think what gives me a really good advantage when I'm reaching out to these guys locally is that, hey, I can meet you, and I can go to you, and I can go get your content, and I can go ahead and take care of everything from here. What I just need from you is to pay your bill. That's it. And you'd be surprised as to how many people are like, yeah, let's do that. Because they don't want to worry about having to do ads. They don't want to worry about having to make up a script and of course, they can get a script from ChatGPT or anything like that. Whatever, to each their own. But for example, this morning, I literally saw an ad for a roofing company. There was literally no primary text. It was just a link to their website, but it was just a selfie of the crew. There was no CTA, there was no nothing. There was nothing valuable to capture an audience. And so even though, yeah, it looks good, it's a crew on a roof. That's pretty cool, but it's not necessarily gonna get people to click on your link and fill out everything that you need filled out. You'll probably get a couple responses from it, but nothing. So I guess we'll check in on Wednesday and see if we have anything going for us. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. I know the volume of people I'm messaging is slowly going up every single day, so there's that. But then there's also the fact that, the people that I'm reaching out to are probably going to be pretty tied up during the week. So it's in the air. I get more responses on the weekends than I do during the week. I've noticed that when I first started out, so I guess we'll see. I'm not going to say I'm not going to have anyone, but I'm also not going to get my hopes up and say that I will. But at the very least, I do have a real estate shoot to do, so I'll probably take you guys with me for the behind the scenes on that.
So I was literally cleaning up to leave the office, and the Wi-Fi went out, but I've gotten a response, and yeah, I think I'm gonna be able to close this. This is so cool.
I'm really busy today, but you're coming with me. It's Tuesday. We're almost at 7 days. I have a call later today to hopefully try and sell my first service, and in about an hour and a half, I have a real estate shoot. So I'm gonna take you guys along for that. So let's go. Okay, so I've run my few tests that I like to do before a shoot. I clean the lens. I, make sure everything's running good. I love my Fujifilm. I've had it for like the last 5.5 years, give or take. And it's beautiful. It's great. I recently bought this wide-angle lens from Viltrox, I believe. It's been okay for video. It's super noisy with the autofocus, and that's really my only complaint with that lens. I've tried to slow down the autofocus within the camera, and I think it's worked a little bit. I don't know if that's just me telling myself, but it's pretty great. The only thing I also don't like about the Fuji is that it has a 2.5, what's it called? Like the gauge to be able to put in a audio receiver, so that way I'm not picking up all the noise it's making from the autofocus. But I don't know. I'm trying to build it out, work with what I have, and so far it's been so good. And if I find that, my videos are just not working out on here, then I always have the DJI, which I'm filming on right now. I take my handy dandy Sony RX-7 with me. I love it. I've been using it for years. I got this one and that one at the same time. It's been an amazing workhorse. As you can tell, it's pretty banged up because I didn't properly protect it. But yeah, my only hold up with this is that the widest focal length it goes to is 24 millimeters. And that's pretty fine for most real estate photography. The only thing it holds me up in is in tighter spaces like bathrooms or in smaller bedrooms. And so after like maybe my second or third real estate shoot, I was like, yeah, they're gonna get pretty peeved by, super duper close up photos and you can't see the entire room. So that's why I have this wide lens. But yeah, talk to you guys soon. Now let's go to the location. All right, so I already did the photo shoot. It was kind of awkward to pull out my camera, so I wasn't gonna deal with that. But I did the photo shoot. There was a real estate agent there, and she asked me to go by to a different nearby city to go take a couple photos for her for one of her other properties. And I said yes. Only thing is that she wants them done soon, and I need to figure that out with my boss. Because I cannot keep taking time off to go take photos. It's no bueno. But yeah, now let's go take this call and see if I can land this website / Google profile management gig, and we'll go from there. That was the easiest thing I've ever done. It was a 10-minute call. I just let him talk, and I scored it. But honestly, that was one of the easiest things I've ever done, and it was really nice. I got to hear his concerns. He kind of wanted to revisit me building him a website. And then again, he's an older gentleman, so he expects me to be able to be a payment processor for him. And I, just kind of sit around and say, hey, I wish I was bank. I wish I was. But I'm not, unfortunately. Those are payment processors. That's how they're all set up. And there's nothing much I could do about it. So you could stay with your current system, and I could go ahead and revamp your website from the current system that you have, or I could just build you out a new website, whatever. Obviously, I priced my website building a little bit cheaper than going ahead and rebuilding his website, because it's on a Squarespace booking system kind of thing. So what he's looking for is a little bit more automation. He has his long-time clients and repeat clients that constantly come back every month, and then he has a very good flow of new clients coming in because he is in the car scene and he's pretty well known. So a lot of people trust him. His services are really great. But yeah, he just needs a lot more help with getting the organic part down for Google and for his website. And then probably in about a month, I'll go ahead and revisit the conversation of possibly running ads for him, especially low-scale ads. I think he'll really get booked out with something like that. So I got every customer. That was a little bit cringe, but it's okay. Fuck. So it has officially been 1 week since I started this challenge, and honestly, it's been really fun and easy, surprisingly. I'm currently rebuilding somebody's site. He didn't really want a new site, and then again, he's an older gentleman, so he's not really familiar with how payment processors work and so forth, and so he thought that I can go ahead and offer him a new payment processing and have someone to actually talk to, because that's his big holdup with Square. But he did say he wants to optimize his SEO, and he wants Google Business Profile Management, and then also hopefully run ads at the end of spring. So that's what we're starting. And honestly, it's been really cool. Like, I'm genuinely so excited. And then yesterday, 2 ladies reached out to me, and both of them agreed to book today. So I'm doing a maternity shoot in June, and then a wedding in May. So that's gonna be fun. That's my first wedding. I'm a little bit nervous for the wedding. Not because I feel underqualified or anything like that, but yeah, it's just nerve-wracking. And anytime I'm doing something new, I feel extremely nervous about it. And I have to wait until it's over for me to like completely feel okay with it. But yeah, so I made an extra $700 today. That was really cool. And yeah, we'll see what happens next. Also, don't